I think I'm live. Okay, I'm getting readings on the microphone. Oh, come on. There we go. Now that I've made everybody motion sick, my apologies. I am Chuck Gibson, and hey, there's D Man. What's going on, buddy? Uh, anyway, I'm doing a live unwrapping today. Um, I did this book before, but the book that I got, the copy that I got, had a misprint in it. Several pages were repeated. Um, and I did a video about it when I unwrapped the other one. And much to my surprise, right there on camera, I discovered the spots where it was misprinted and that there was a problem. Excuse me. So, anyway, I was ready to go ahead and deal with the book as is because what else am I going to do? They were all sold out. It wasn't like I could get another copy from the store that I'd gotten it from. And I'm sure they weren't going to take that book back. So I was like, okay, I was ready to write it off. And then a few weeks later, um, actually, a couple of months later, actually, I think, um, I get a contact in my email, and it's from a gentleman by the name of Ian Shalgren. Shout out to Ian. Um, he's the guy that designed this book and edited it and put it all together. And he randomly ran across my video unwrapping the book, and he saw the misprints that I had, and he said he was absolutely horrified. And he wanted to reach out and offer to send me to have another copy sent to me, a replacement copy with with the proper printing. So anyway, that is what I've been waiting on for a little bit, um, and finally, the folks at Zoop got it here, made it happen. Uh, anyway, I've heard mixed reactions about Zoop. I've had mixed experiences with them as well. Anyway, they did eventually come through. So, and you can't look a gift horse in the mouth because it could have just been like, wah, wah, sorry. This is just tough shit, you know. So it was kind of cool, very, very cool of Ian to reach out and to make the effort and for those guys to follow through with it, you know. Having said all that, I haven't opened it yet. So it could be like they could have mailed me a brick, or something like that, I guess. Hang on just a second. Sorry about that. My apologies. Oh, okay. Summertime in New Mexico, I tell you. Anyway, man, there's that knife. Okay. That's not a knife. That's a knife. Um, let me get this sucker open. They got tape pretty good. Put that thing down before I hurt myself with it. I dig this out of the box. Yeah. Large box. All right. And you can tell somewhere along the way, USPS is awesome with it, right? Because, see, like, see that hole in the box? See that dent in the inner box? Boo. USPS sucks. Okay. Anyway, hopefully, yes, the book is still shielded. You got one of these nice IDW style boxes. I bet it was Ian that was responsible for that too, because I guess he figured out all the specifics of this. And, I do have to say that the misprinting aside, uh, the book itself that I got before was a beautiful book, just in terms of an object. Anyway, see if I can open this without hurting myself or the book. That would be preferred. I didn't give anybody a heads up that I was doing this stream. I told Ian that I'd gotten the book, and then from there, I went out to the garage for a um, little lounge time, and waited to open this up on camera. Here we go. All right, there we go. Always a satisfying feeling when you get the shrink wrap off of it. All right. No turning back now. Here it is. Not to say, even with the misprints that were in it before, this was a pretty cool book. I wasn't happy about the misprints, of course, but not so much that I was ready to part ways with it quite instantly. I might be selling my copy now that I got this one, provided that it's. Oh, and they were nice enough to send me a signed and numbered copy, signed by Roy Thomas. That other one wasn't signed. Oh, I kind of hate it when they do these special effects and stuff, or I don't know, maybe that's folds and stuff in the actual artwork. Probably. But yeah, I thought the book was damaged. Like, let's not get tricky with these things, guys. Um, okay, man. Nah, it's got artwork in it by all kinds of people. But the other copy that I got had certain pages printed like 2 and 3 times in them. Not that they were bad pages, but I really don't need 3 pages taken up of each, So I was a little miffed before, but again, like I said, even with that, I'm like, hey, this is still a cool book. Um, and I don't, we'll see. So far, so good. Um, I bet that's Dick Giordano. Dick Giordano inks here, probably. That's probably Tony DeZuniga. I can recognize some of these styles from miles and miles away. These are Tom Palmer, more Tom Palmer inking Buscema. He always did such an awesome job inking Buscema. Never saw a bad job by Buscema and Palmer, not once. So cool. I've been really into John Buscema lately, so pardon me just a minute. Okay, it's like more John Buscema inking, like Buscema inking himself. Oh, that's right. These have credits at the bottom of the pages. I forgot about that. I'm looking at it before. Yeah, Buscema and Ernie Chan. It's Buscema inking himself, which is always my favorite. Is this him inking himself as well? It is. It's a different style. I think that's probably the most I've seen Buscema really care about inking. He was rumored not to really like inking himself, and in some places you can really kind of see it where he's just like, yeah, yeah, whatever, it's done. Pay me. Good for him. Um, Buscema inking himself there. Tony DeShanika and the chin. Okay, Klaus Jansen. I used to own one of the pages from this job for a little while. It's a caretaker. Um, it was when we got into these Neil Adams inked pages that I started to get stuff that was repeating. So I'm gonna keep an eye out through here and make sure that I only get these pages once. This one in particular, I remember where I got several times. This one too. But so far, so good. More Tony DeZuniga inking. And there's the double page spread from the cover. The only flaw that I have with these books is that with the binding the way it is, it would be nice to see this the way a full page, the way a 2 page spread is when it's flat. You see the middle comfortably. I understand that's hard to do. One thing I can think of is like take each end and bump it over. You see each end separately. I guess you still don't see all together that way, but you can see all of each image without losing any in the binding crevice there. This is my first time looking through this particular copy of it, just like before. So far, no repeat pages. So far. Good, good, good. Beautiful work. See, I don't remember this cover from before. I don't know. I really haven't looked at it since. I didn't think it really spoiled the book, but at the same time, I think I've looked through it maybe twice since I got it because it was kind of. I remember this story when I was a kid. This guy Harry arm from a witch to replace one that had been cut and cut off in battle, and of course it's demonic, and he starts killing. It starts killing people around him and shit. And they're like, oh, we can't have you doing that. No, I love that. Wow. Hey, it's Glenn. Yeah, I explained at the beginning. You probably hadn't gotten here yet. The editor and designer of the book he reached out to me, and he had seen the video that I did before, and saw the misprints, and he wasn't happy about it. And he said, "Hey, let me get you out another copy." So since I unwrapped that one on camera, I'm unwrapping this one on camera, and we're all going to find out together if it's got repeat pages in it. It is amazing he came up with that. It absolutely is. I have a theory about that sort of thing, though. And creativity, uh, well, it's back in the 30s. There's not that much to do. It's not like you've got the internet and cable TV and, you know, movie theaters in a lot of places, you know. Hey, Glenn, yeah, you're right. It was cool. There's a guy named Ian Shalgren, who's a gentleman that reached out to me. He saw the video, and he's the guy that designed this book, if I'm not mistaken. Get to the credits page here. We'll see. Okay, yeah, he's the designer and co-editor, and it looks like some of the people from formerly from IDW are involved with this as well. John Barber, Chris Ryall, Pan Galactic, Pan Universal Galactic Worldwide. That's quite a mouthful of a company. John Nee is the CEO. Haven't seen John in a long time. John Barber's editor in chief. Cool, 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 cool. Very nice. And they sent me that they were nice enough to not only replace it, but as I mentioned earlier in the video as well, they sent me a signed copy by Roy Thomas. Anyway, back to awesome zombies on the pages. Uh, so far, no repeats. Yeah, I am seeing some stuff I don't remember seeing before. Man, that is so cool. Nice cover. Very sweet. Yeah, see, this wasn't something I expected today. Ian said I would get a copy of it and told me to remind him in a month or so, and I did. And he bugged him again for me and said, hey, if you don't see it in another couple weeks, then tell me and I'll bug him again. There were no reruns of the Buscema pages. So far, everything's been perfect. And like I said, I think I even noticed some new ones. Now we're getting into some Gil Kane stuff. Um, which I didn't really spend a lot of time on because I wasn't real crazy about. Gil Kane has to be inked a certain way, man. I've only seen a couple people really pull it off to any kind of satisfaction. Um, these are okay. It's not bad work. It's just not stuff that twirls my beanie. Let's say that. That's family friendly. Much more family friendly than Sam then gets my dick hard, right? Anyway, moving right along. It's an adult show, not for children, by the way. It's some Barry Windsor Smith. Very early Barry Windsor Smith. Which this too is stuff that I'm not crazy about, honestly. I'm like, the early Barry Smith is okay. I don't hate it, but I don't see in it what a lot of other people saw in it. It seems like they're just absolutely gaga over the stuff. I like the stuff he got into later, uh, when he was showing more of his pre-Raphaelite influence. This is more Kirby and like Herb Trimpe. Nothing wrong with Herb Trimpe. Stop it! Don't go there. Some of this starts to get pretty cool. I'm digging. Starts to look like Barry Windsor Smith a little bit. I do like his stuff a little later on, especially the Weapon X work. He's got a book, a black and white book of the Weapon X stuff in French, I think, and it's pretty sweet too. Nice Arthur Adams. More Arthur Adams. And then here we are into Neil Adams. Nice stuff. Yeah, no sign of any misprints on this one. No repeated pages. That gorgeous looking Neil Adams painting. This is so sick. Oh, let me get that up there. That's what she said. Alfredo Alcala. It sounds like something Rob would say. Yeah, it does sound like something, or it did sound like something Rob would say. Rob and I get along pretty good. We got along pretty good right from the start. I kind of had a feeling that we were gonna just watching his videos and something like this guy's got. It's not like his opinions are the same as mine, but his tastes seem to run along the same directions most of the time. Ernie Chan and Howard Chaykin. Here's just Ernie Chan by himself, which really isn't my favorite stuff. But what are you going to do? So, yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen it or not. I uh, I did a cover over Isaac Bell's pencils that you can see over on my Instagram. I spent like a month on this thing. So, yeah, pretty damn happy with it. I was pretty damn tired of it by the time it was finished too. I was like, okay, I've had enough of this one. Tim Conrad. I liked Tim Conrad's stuff. He didn't do a lot. Glenn, I'll have to send you a big old high res copy of it. I know you study digital inking and stuff. The timing worked out perfectly too because it wasn't a week after I finished that piece and got it off to them that my computer decided to take a shit on me and I had to restore it back to its factory state. Yeah, it won't be the same size as the copy I sent him uh, for publication, but it's still enormous. Just because the I couldn't even send him the original file. The Clip Studio Paint file, I shit you not. The Clip Studio Paint file is 15 gigabytes. I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, but that's the thing is I've got a lot of RAM in this machine, so I don't have any hesitation at all in terms of I do as many layers as I need to do. Oh yeah, I just did. Yeah, Shocula. I just did the. All I did was that cover. Just that wraparound cover. So it's 2 pages actually. I've been looking for an excuse to ink uh, Isaac's stuff for a little bit, and he posted that one, and immediately in my mind's eye, I could see what I was going to do. So it was real quick and easy. I was like, hey, send me that. Send me that. And you're like, all right, here it is. I'm like, okay, what do you need it? Boom, done deal. So, and hey, guess what? No, maybe I should. I'll keep it in my hat. No, I can't resist. I'm terrible at secrets. I'm terrible at stuff like that. I bartered a deal with them. When I go to do my creator-owned book, I will have an Isaac Bell alternate cover in my campaign or in my print run that I have available. However, I decide to do it. So you'll get to see his book with the cover that I inked, and then eventually at some point I'll get my shit together and get my own book going on, and I'll get my Isaac Bell cover in return. I was like, okay, I don't want any money for it. I want a future favor. I'll take a future favor. Thank you. Jim Lee and Scott Williams, man, sitting here yammering on and ignoring this Jim Lee and Scott Williams. Goodness, Scott was firing on all cylinders and stuff. That is awesome. It is awesome, the line work and stuff in there. See, Glenn, you need to get you a book or two like this so that you can look at the pages on actual size. Start doing you some stuff on paper. And get some of these pages that you see and print them out in blue line. Because I'll tell you, uh, I've had a lot of people tell me after looking at my digital inks, like, dude, your digital inks look different than everybody else's digital inks. And I'm like, quite frankly, what I usually say is because the people you see that are using digital ink don't know how to ink. So it doesn't matter that they're using advanced technology to do it with. Um, They don't know what to do with it. So for me, if I couldn't get it to the point where it was reasonably close to what I could do by hand, then there's no way I'm going to switch to digital and have it look bad with my name on it if I can help it. Okay. Like, no, I'm not going to take a step down with technology. Why would I do that? So I'm going to use higher technology and produce an inferior product to what I can do with analog? No, no, not doing it. Now, if you're going to use technology and produce a higher level of product, that I get. But to take a step down, no, that doesn't make sense to me. Alex Nino, that is so great. Get a look at this stuff. Oh, sorry, I bumped the camera. I want you to get a look at the stuff on the ground for Glenn because he doesn't use any actual outlines on some of this stuff. Your eye is filling a lot of that in because the line's so thin or not there where the light is hitting it, and he's just portraying that object with the shadows. Really, really cool technique. I love that guy's stuff. He's still doing it too. I don't I don't know how old he is, but he's got to be in his 80s if he's a day, because he was doing work that looked like this back in the 70s. Yeah, you can check him out on Instagram. Alex Nino, Nino. He's Filipino. That's why there's the accent there. Um, Kevin Nolan, Tony Salmons, Bill Sienkiewicz, and Alex Toth. That's crazy that's what the board looks like. That you got, the blue marker over here on his leg, or I don't know. That's just the color it's faded to. No, because this is kind of purpley back here. He's using different tones of marker in color, even though knowing that it's going to be printed in black and white. He knows the tonal values well enough to know how to do that. George Zaffino, his son is also on Instagram. George Zaffino is no longer with us. We have Jorge Zaffino now, his son. He's taken up the mantle as an illustrator, and in my opinion, is every bit as good as his father was, and that's you know, wow. Maybe part of that's genetic. I don't know. Really cool stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of fun going through that over and over and over again. Shout out, shout out to Ian Shilgren. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. First of all, I hope so. Um, Very cool that you reached out to me. That is really cool. I've said it before. You just don't see that kind of thing these days. It's like above and beyond, man. Nobody does that kind of thing anymore. They're always like, "Yeah, tough shit. Screw you." And to their credit, man, they didn't do that. They didn't have to go as much trouble as they did, but they did it anyway. And damn it, hats off to you for that. So while I got you guys here, there's a couple people here still left. haven't live streamed in a while. Ah, that's so cool that they sent me a signed one. I haven't had you guys here in a while because I've been working on that cover, right? Like I said, right? For like a full month. Hang on, let you guys down again. I'll be right back. I swear to God. All right, not even the first day of April, and I swear to God, it's already like 80 degrees. Christ. Oh, what else did I get today? What else did I get today? I got uh, Titan Comics Savage Sword of Conan, #7. Anyway, tripod down because I was adjusted for that larger book. Hang on, there's going to be a joke. There we go. Lots of glare. There we go. That's better to see this one. Yeah, Glenn, that was so cool of them to do that. Now, I got this today. I got this is because it's got a story in it by the aforementioned Roy Thomas, who signed that book we were just looking at. Um, but the artwork is by Roberto de Torre, uh, who I don't know anything about except that he draws just like John Buscema. And really, just be honest with you, I don't care about any of the rest. He draws. Draws. Look at that. Look at that. Look at the arms. Look at the face. It's fucking John Buscema. Holy shit. And I mean, I've seen people try and draw like John Buscema before. I know Mark Silvestri, okay? If anybody was nailing the hell out of the Buscema style, it was Mark Silvestri, okay? I've seen other people do Mark Silvestri's. Steve Epting can do an awesome looking John Buscema look to it. I haven't seen anybody nail it as close to this guy because I do study ink styles, and this is as close as I've ever seen anyone get to John Buscema inking his own work. Which, whatever you may think of it, maybe it wasn't the best inker for Buscema. I don't know. It's kind of subjective, but this guy's nailing it and making it look cool every time. So I was just absolutely stoked. I didn't know what the colossal edition was. It's just this big box, and I'm like, oh wait a minute, I have been kind of waiting on something that's like this size. So I haven't. I did flip through this earlier, but I haven't read the story yet. I gotta say, as far as the package goes, there's a little difference in the cover paper from the old days, but really it's about the same thickness. It's a little thinner, but you know what? You're also not getting ads. You used to have ads in the Savage Sword, and I don't see any ads in this one, which is kind of a shame. You used to have ads for portfolios and stuff that you wouldn't get ads for in the normal Marvel comics. Everything from cool books you couldn't find down at the local drugstore from Bud Plant to uh, all kinds of stuff. Portfolios, Sal Q Productions. It is just unreal how much this guy draws like Buscema. Just crazy. Just nails it. No problem. It's like, oh, no big deal. I can draw like John Buscema. Somewhere around here, I've got. I need to pull it out while I was inking that piece. I got another book by this guy, and it's in Italian, I think. Uh, but it's not drawn in the John Buscema style. It's still excellent. It's still outstanding, but it's not drawn in the John Buscema look. Um, I'm gonna turn my light on again. Sorry. And he's like, "Will you quit bumping the damn camera?" There we go. Now we can both see a little better. I thought it was better before. I mean, there's so much glare on the fucking cover. Um, oh, yeah, yeah. So there's some adult themes and situations in this book, aka babies. Yes, babies. Just like you used to get in the old Savage Storage stuff. God, that is so great. I love this shot of Conan. That is awesome. Great looking tiger too. Very sweet. Great looking art job. See, if we had more stuff like this coming out, I think people would go to the comic store. Because you notice the whole time that we've been flipping through this, right? There isn't one scene of Conan sitting around eating or drinking fucking coffee. See how that works? No 4-page long conversation sequences or bullshit like that. Like it's shot for a bad fucking sitcom. Sorry, my computer just kind of broke down over the last couple days, so I'm a little salty overall. Uh, awesome. Yeah, so this is just stuff that I got today. The Savage Sword and the Conan Colossal Edition. Now, this is the tale of another Robert E. Howard character. I don't know which one offhand. Like I said, I haven't read this yet. This is written by Patrick Zerker and drawn by a guy named Juan Alberto Hernandez. And then letters by uh, the Comic Craft folks. The art for this is really, really nice in this story. I love that. Wow. Check that out. That is badass. Well, yeah, they didn't even have coffee in those days, but you could just as easily have a Conan book where they're just sitting around in a bar drinking mead. Now, I have seen sequences where they're sitting around in a bar for 2 or 3 pages, but then you know what happens? A bar fight breaks out, crashes into the table, or some shit like that, and then Conan has to get up. And that doesn't happen now in today's comics. Conan comics still, but in the new comics, When things get the old rule, dude, that I was introduced to in something I read by John Byrne, where he talked about like when things get slow and you don't know what to do, blow something up. It's comic books. Find a reason, cause an explosion, blow something up. You know, it keeps things moving. It keeps things exciting. You can't sit around and do exposition scenes where they're just talking all the time. Wow. Look at that. That's pretty impressive. Love that technique. That's a great bear. And it you can tell that he's looked at photos of a bear to get an idea of what a bear looks like, but he hasn't been a slave to it. That's his own interpretation of a bear. No photo swipes or any bullshit like that going on. Here's a pinup by Patrick Zerker. That looks pretty nice. I wonder if that's digital or analog stuff. I see some stuff that leads me to believe it might be digital. I could be wrong, I suppose. I don't know. How'd you say? It's nice either way. Hmm? Now, obviously, they've done something to kill the background back here. Maybe he did it analog and then just came in and tweaked it around digitally. I don't know. It's hard to say. Very cool. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of cool stuff over the last few weeks. It's because most of today's writers have no life experience. They're sons and daughters of rich liberals and back in the day comic book writers that actually fought in wars. That's, hey, that's a valid theory as any. I will, I'll take that as valid as any idea that I've got. Although, I used to write stories when I was experienced at all. It was just like imagination and whatever you didn't know about, you just made something up. Kinda. I think that's why. That's why Stan Lee was so relatable to kids. You know, let's face it. In reality, if you're exposed to radiation, you don't get superpowers. You just get leukemia or some shit. What else did I get while I was inking stuff? While I was inking that cover for a month, I got this awesome issue of Superman. And this is the Superman special 64-page spectacular from 1992. I got this on eBay for a good price, but I got it because it's not reprinted anywhere that I'm aware of. It doesn't have its own graphic novel or anything else, and it's written and drawn by Walt Simonson. One of the rare times, you know, Simonson doesn't hasn't drawn a lot. Well, he's drawn a lot since Thor, but it's been kind of here or there. Didn't do a lot of work for DC on superheroes like Superman or Batman once he got into this style. The beginning of his career, he was messing with Batman stuff, but it looked a little different than this. It's Batman Sword of the Azrael. That's when that dates this sucker, doesn't it? Written by Denny O'Neil and penciled by Quesada, inked by Kevin Nolan. Really dates this sucker. Superman, a great Simonson Superman. So much of what you see Eric Larson doing in Savage Dragon is, especially with the way he uses lettering in his book, very influenced by stuff he saw Simonson doing. I don't do as detailed a commentary as Rob. I'm not gonna sit here and read it to you, and I haven't read this one before, so it's not like I can just fake it and go through it. And of course, I do have something in common with Rob. I am a bad YouTuber. I don't do any prep or anything else like that. I like the Dan Jurgens Superman too. I like the Dan Jurgens Superman quite a bit, especially early on. They had him being inked by Art Bear, and Art Bear was doing some really, really nice inks. And later on with the Death of Superman stuff, when he was inked by Rubenstein and Brett Breeding, and yeah, I've got a book of them over there. Um, Probably buy the omnibus when it comes out. Classic of all time is this stuff. And what, an ad in your comic? Wow, this is old. They don't do that. Some of the ads were cool. Those Johnson and Smith company ads where you get like a joy buzzer or some red pepper gum, that kind of shit. X-ray specs. The X-ray specs, where it would show like a little illustration of the guy wearing the X-ray specs, and he's looking right over at a girl in the ad. Like he looks very, as the kids would say these days, looks very sus. Okay, I know kids are cringing when I said that. They're like, oh, don't, Grandpa, don't say that. What do you want me to tell you, kids? Gee, there's some Barry Windsor Smith. Not a great one. Looks like, yeah, this is really not a great one. That hand does not belong to this figure. Really looks like there's some other guy pulling, like, pulling down the Superman shirt. Hey, Dan Goodwin, you missed all the good shit, man. How you doing, buddy? Oh, a Frank Miller pinup. I don't think I've seen that one before. That's cool. No, I got my replacement copy of the Conan Colossal edition. The co-editor of the book and designer contacted me after seeing my other one was reprinted. It was misprinted, sorry, and hooked me up with a new copy. It took a little while to get here, but it got here, and now I've got a copy that doesn't have like copies, pages printed 3 and 4 times in it, which is cool. Now I'm free to flip the old one. I don't know what I'll do with it. Bonus features Superman in Action by Frank Miller, Kurt Swan, and Archie Bear. Where's that? I bypassed that. Oh, yeah, and I bypassed a Todd McFarlane Superman too. Look at that. Shame on me. Jeff Darrow. Pretty lackluster, but that's an awesome McFarlane. Okay. It just doesn't look like Kurt Swan. That's Kurt Swan and Art to Bear. As you can see, Art to Bear using some of that, the beginnings of the image style rendering on the legs there. He was one of the first guys to come in and introduce that West Coast inking look. Yeah, I wasn't really intending to do a super duper long stream, but I keep finding stuff like within arm's reach that I've recently got that you know, I haven't shown you guys because I haven't been doing the YouTube thing lately. Oh, that's what else I got. Copy of Cameron Allen Davis's The Nail Deluxe Edition, hardback. So it sits flat. Anybody's followed my channel for a while. You know, I want my books to sit flat. I don't want to fight it to have it stay open so I can look at the thing. If you guys are familiar with The Nail, there's not much extra here that you really haven't seen before. There is some pencils, layouts, things like this by Alan Davis that are really cool. But there's really not enough of it, unfortunately. We don't get as much as I would like to see. So, but it does have The Nail and Another Nail series. Both those series are in it, complete in one book. Let's see, what else did I get? Yeah, I don't really see anything else that's super grabbable. Um, well, kids, looks like that's where we're going to wind up for today. I've been streaming for about an hour. We went through the Conan Colossal Edition again. Um, and I'm glad to say that it is a nice book. And those guys find it was really, really cool of Ian Shelgren to reach out to me and get me a replacement copy of it. That is really cool. They could have, buddy. Sorry about your luck. You know, real class act. Thanks everybody for stopping by and book with me. Again, shout out to Ian Shelgren. It's awesome that you did that, dude. Awesome. Thanks I got a lot again, and thanks everybody for joining me. I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.